Imagine waking up one day to find that Earth has the same gravity as the Moon. An intriguing thought, isn't it? Picture this. The Moon's gravity is only about 1/6 the pull of our own planet's. In simpler terms, if you weigh 60 pounds on Earth, you'd weigh a mere 10 pounds on the Moon. That's less than a sack of potatoes. Now let's bring this concept home. Imagine our Earth, the blue-green jewel we call home, sharing the same gravity as the Moon. It's a mind-bending thought, isn't it? The world as we know it would be dramatically different, from the oceans, tides, to the very biology of our bodies. This is not just a whimsical flight of fancy. It's a thought experiment that can help us appreciate the delicate balance that makes life on Earth possible. So buckle up, and let's explore the ripple effects of this gravity shift. The first victims of this gravity shift would be our oceans. Imagine a world where the gravitational pull is no longer strong enough to keep the waters of the oceans harnessed, the tides no longer rising and falling in their rhythmic dance. This is the reality in a world where Earth's gravity mirrors that of the Moon's. Our oceans, vast and deep, are greatly influenced by the gravitational pull of our planet. These bodies of water are in constant motion, swaying to the gravitational rhythm of the Earth. But in a world where gravity is 1/6 of what it is now, the tides would be significantly reduced. The mighty waves, the ebb and flow of the tides, would be a mere whisper of their former selves. With weaker gravity, the pull of water towards the center of the Earth would be lessened, leading to shallower oceans. Imagine wading through the Atlantic or the Pacific with their depths dramatically reduced. This could potentially expose more land, reshaping the geography of our planet. Coastal cities might find themselves landlocked, and sea creatures could find their habitats drastically altered. The ripple effects on marine life and coastal ecosystems would be immense. With the tides playing a crucial role in the life cycles of many marine species, a reduction in tidal movement could have profound impacts on their survival. Coastal ecosystems, which rely on the regular influx and outflow of ocean water, would need to adapt to these new conditions or risk collapse. And it's not just the oceans that would feel this change. Rivers and lakes too would be affected, their flow and depth altered. The distribution of water across the globe would be radically different, potentially impacting weather patterns and climate. From the depths of our oceans, let's move to another area profoundly affected: our bodies. The shift in gravity would not only reshape our planet physically, but it would also have far-reaching effects on the biology of all living creatures, including us. But that's a story for the next scene. Our bodies, a marvel of adaptation, would suddenly find themselves in an alien environment. Imagine our musculoskeletal system, which has evolved over millions of years to bear the weight of our bodies under Earth's gravitational pull, suddenly subjected to a force only 1/6 as strong. With less weight to support, our muscles would have less work to do, and over time they could begin to atrophy or waste away. This is a condition we've observed in astronauts who spend extended periods in the weightlessness of space. Our bones would also undergo changes. Much like our muscles, our bones are constantly remodeling themselves, a process driven by the stress of supporting our weight. With less gravitational pull, this stress would decrease, potentially leading to a loss of bone density. We could become more prone to fractures, even from minor falls or impacts. A radical change indeed, but how would our everyday lives adjust? Picture yourself walking with a spring in your step, literally. With Earth donning the Moon's gravity, our everyday actions would undergo a dramatic transformation. Imagine strolling down your street, each step propelling you higher than you've ever leaped. Suddenly, walking isn't just a means of getting from point A to B, it's an exhilarating dance with the air itself. Now let's take this a step further. Think about driving. The reduced gravitational pull would mean less traction for your vehicle's tires. It's almost like every road becomes an icy street, demanding utmost caution and control. And what about sports? Imagine a football game where the ball could travel 6 times further, or a basketball match where slam dunks become a piece of cake. Sports, as we know them, would need to be reimagined completely. But it's not all fun and games. This newfound freedom in our movements could come with its own set of perils. We would not be as firmly anchored to the ground as we are now. A simple stumble could send us soaring, and the landing might not be as graceful. The risk of injuries from falls or collisions could increase significantly. Moreover, our daily chores would transform too. Lifting heavy objects would become easier, almost effortless, but this could also mean that objects can easily become airborne, turning a simple task like setting the table into a juggling act. And how about our homes? With lighter gravity, dust and other particles would stay suspended in the air longer, making our cleaning routines a bit more challenging, not to mention the impact on cooking. Boiling water, for instance, would behave differently, altering how we prepare our meals. As we adjust to these changes, nature too would be evolving. While we're redefining our daily routines and adapting to a new way of life, the world around us would be on its own journey of transformation. So, buckle up, because this ride on our moon-like Earth would be nothing short of extraordinary. In the long run, Mother Nature would start painting a new evolutionary picture. Over countless generations living under conditions of moon-like gravity, we could expect to see significant changes in the physical makeup of humans and other species. Our bodies, in their adaptive brilliance, would likely evolve to suit this new, lighter world. Imagine humans becoming taller, more slender, our bodies stretching upwards as if reaching for the stars. Our muscle and bone structures might change dramatically, becoming less dense and more flexible, adapted to the lower gravitational pull. But we wouldn't be the only ones adapting. Other species too could potentially undergo similar transformations, their bodies morphing over time to take advantage of the new gravitational conditions. Evolution, as always, would be driven by survival, by the ability to thrive in a changed environment. But it's not just nature that would evolve, our technology and architecture would need to adapt too. From skyscrapers to spacecraft, everything would need a redesign. Our architectural and technological landscape would be shaken to its core. Buildings engineered to withstand Earth's gravitational pull would suddenly find themselves overbuilt and potentially unstable. The towering skyscrapers we pride ourselves on could become unstable monoliths, necessitating a complete overhaul of architectural design principles. Our infrastructure too would need to be reimagined. From bridges to dams, the structures that keep our society running smoothly would be under a whole new set of physical rules. And let's not forget about transportation. Vehicles would need to be redesigned to account for altered traction and stability. Airplanes, with lift and drag equations thrown into disarray, would need to be re-engineered. Even our spacecraft, designed with Earth's gravitational field in mind, would require significant adjustments to launch and operate effectively. As we can see, a gravity shift would turn our world upside down. Life on an Earth with moon-like gravity, while fascinating, would be a challenging ride. As we've discussed, the environment would undergo dramatic changes. The oceans would recede, revealing more land, while the tides would become a mere whisper of what they once were. This in turn would have a domino effect on marine life and coastal ecosystems. Our bodies would have to adapt to a world where we weigh a sixth of what we do now. This could lead to muscle atrophy and bone density loss, much like what astronauts experience in space. Everyday activities, from walking to playing sports, would feel markedly different and could even pose new risks. In the long term, we might see evolutionary changes in our species and others. Buildings, vehicles, and even spacecraft would need redesigning to function in this new, low-gravity world.